Good morning to everyone here today. Thank you for joining us for the virtual kickoff ceremony for the 2020 ASEAN Month celebration of the Commission on Higher Education. My name is John Eric Estrellado from Rizal Technological University, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today. To the CHED officials, event as the Commission on Higher Education begins to celebrate the ASEAN months through this virtual kickoff ceremony. May your will be done through this event and take what we have to offer. Direct our intentions to align with your righteous plan. Please remind us of your faithful provisions. Blanket us with your love today as we advocate the unity of not just the ASEAN nations, but even the whole world, especially that we are experiencing this pandemic. Keep us physically safe and guard our hearts and minds. In the name of Almighty, Amen. Everyone, please rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
And now, the ASEAN hymn. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. We are glad to have all of you with us today as we kick off regional activities aimed at spreading awareness and enjoying our stakeholders to celebrate the 53rd founding anniversary of ASEAN. To tell us more about this initiative, I would like to welcome Attorney Lily Frey Damilia, CHED's Deputy Executive Director and Director for International Affairs.
Esteves, fellow directors and employees from our central and regional offices, our guest speakers, Director Rodora Babaran from the Human Development Directorate of the ASEAN Secretariat, and Assistant Secretary Junifer Mahilum West of the Department of Foreign Affairs Office of the ASEAN Affairs, higher education institutions officers, faculty and staff, and everyone watching through CHED's Facebook Live. Good morning, everyone. Happy 53rd founding anniversary of ASEAN. Happy anniversary to all of us. Our sincerest appreciation goes to the various CHED regional offices who have been working with the International Affairs Office in bringing ASEAN closer to our stakeholders. I would also like to thank all the officers and personnel who help us in organizing this virtual kickoff ceremony of CHED's 2020 ASEAN Month celebration. The CHED Executive Office, the Office of Planning, Research, Knowledge and Management, the Higher Education Development Fund Office, and of course, I would like to extend my warmest thanks to ASEC Mahilum West and Director Babaran for making room in their busy schedules to be with us this morning. The CHED regional hosting of ASEAN Month is part of the Philippine higher education's commitment to the building of the ASEAN community. The sectors supported by CHED have actively participated in efforts to build connectivity through people-to-people exchanges in general and higher education in particular. In recognition of the importance of contributing to community building, the Philippine higher education have made it a priority to annually celebrate the ASEAN Month in August. And it has been a tradition to involve our regional offices to bring ASEAN and its programs closer to everyone. While the previous years to the higher education sector celebrated ASEAN with parades, presentations, conferences, where the universities and regional offices gathered together to celebrate in joy and camaraderie, for this year, we were faced with the challenging task of commemorating ASEAN amidst the pandemic of COVID-19. But our ASEAN spirit refuses to just give up to the situation. Our Filipino collective spirit, embodied in the Bayanihan spirit, made things possible. The pandemic may have limited our mobility, Network. Schedule 3 will be having a webinar for HAIs on reimagining ASEAN identity and cultural diversity in the new normal. Schedule 5, ASEAN webinar series on business and economic education and tourism hospitality management. Schedule 6 will be having a webinar on ASEAN's effort to address opportunities and challenges on the pandemic. Schedule 10's webinar graphic designing, and solo dance contest. It will be an exciting month-long celebration for us. For our stakeholders who are interested to join, coordinate with their respective schedules, and watch out for announcements in the Commission's social media accounts. In this time of COVID-19, it is our hope that our 2020 ASEAN Month celebration reminds us of our strength as peoples of ASEAN, the increasing importance of thriving in diversity, and honoring our place in the ASEAN community. Vietnam's chairmanship theme, cohesive and responsive, is very significant in fostering unity and cohesion in this time. To give us a brief overview of their chairmanship, I will end my message with an audio-video presentation showcasing Vietnam's priorities and vision for 2020. Happy ASEAN, everyone.
The year 2020 marks ASEAN's 5 years of community building, halfway to Vision 2025. A community of peace, prosperity, and sustainability. Vietnam has the honor to be the chair of ASEAN in 2020. We endeavor to further strengthen ASEAN unity and solidarity, regional integration and connectivity, Vietnam wishes to bring to ASEAN and partners its charming beauty and warm hospitality. Welcome to Vietnam. ASEAN 2020, cohesive and responsive. Think community, act community.
Thank you for sharing with us an overview of CHED's ASEAN Month celebration, Attorney Milia. With that, we are reminding everyone to use the hashtags #WeAreASEAN and #ASEAN at 53 in all of the ASEAN Month related social media posts. And now we will be hearing from the Department of Foreign Affairs Office of ASEAN.
Pandemic. Good morning, Chair Prospero de Vera III, Attorney Lily Freda Milia, Director Rodora Babaran of the ASEAN Secretariat, colleagues, official dom of CHED, colleagues from the ASEAN Secretariat, to our teachers and students, good morning and happy 53rd founding anniversary of ASEAN. My name is Juniver Mahilum West. I am the Assistant Secretary of the Office of ASEAN Affairs of the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Director General of the Philippine National ASEAN Secretariat. Before I start on my message, I just would like to give you a very important message from His Excellency the President, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, on the occasion of our ASEAN Day. Order to secure for their peoples enduring peace, freedom, and prosperity. More than 5 decades hence, we celebrate ASEAN as a community of 10 member states with one vision and shared destiny. As a force for peace and prosperity in the region, ASEAN has had indeed unparalleled success. Today, ASEAN is the 5th largest economy in the world, driving growth and development across the region. It is at the center of mechanisms promoting peace and stability in our rapidly changing regional environment. More importantly, ASEAN is moving closer to become one politically cohesive, economically integrated, and socially responsible community. Though challenges remain, most notably the COVID-19 pandemic, ASEAN's commitment to community building has never been stronger. Bouncing back from the pandemic appears to be a daunting task, but if pursued with friends, the burden is shared and transformed into an opportunity to create a more resilient Southeast Asian region. With a deeper sense of common purpose, we will continue to work together as one ASEAN and strengthen partnerships with friends within and outside the region. We are confident that the ASEAN Mabuhay ang ASEAN, signed Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And now I will proceed to my own message. I thank Chair De Vera for CHED's support in commemorating ASEAN's anniversary and for taking part in ASEAN community building through CHED's ASEAN Month celebration and its efforts in ASEAN cooperation. Whenever I'm invited to speak at events, I give a brief background on our region's community building efforts. And this is even more important with the COVID-19 pandemic. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, was founded on August 8, 1967, when the foreign ministers of Indonesia and in the promotion of regional peace and stability through abiding respect for justice and the rule of law and adherence to the principles of the United Nations Charter, close quotation marks. Even in the very early days of ASEAN, education was already a priority area of cooperation. ASEAN was later on joined by Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, which completes the 10 ASEAN member states that the ASEAN community has today. In 2007, ASEAN member states decided to accelerate community building through the establishment of ASEAN Community 2015, which is founded on 3 pillars, namely the political security community pillar, the economic community pillar, and thirdly, the social-cultural community pillar, all of which worked hand in hand across pillars and sectors to respond to opportunities and challenges faced by the region. It is followed by the ASEAN Community Vision 2025, a post-2015 vision for the region that would realize a politically cohesive, economically integrated, socially responsible, and a truly people-oriented, people-centered, and rules-based ASEAN. The Department of Education, the Commission on Higher Education, and TESDA fall under the Social-Cultural Community Pillar and coordinate with the DSWD and the Philippine National Secretariat of ASEAN with experiences, and in your case, education systems, and exchange ideas and best practices in providing access to quality education for all learners, which is goal 4 of the Sustainable Development Goals. Later, I will focus on the ASEAN education sector, where your experiences and inputs form part of our feedback at the regional level, and our regional collaboration informs our policies in strengthening the education system in the Philippines. Our cooperation with ASEAN member states and ASEAN's dialogue partners in our regional community is a big factor in enabling our education system to keep up with our ASEAN neighbors and with the world. This year, as everyone knows, the whole world is confronted with a COVID-19 pandemic that has affected over 200 countries. Learning lessons from the SARS pandemic of 2003, the health sector of ASEAN was quick to activate existing mechanisms that allowed the 10 member states to respond appropriately by enforcing measures that mitigated the spread of the virus. Result analytics and visualization, disease surveillance, and the public health preparedness and emergency operation responses carried out by existing ASEAN health sector mechanisms. Within a few months, ASEAN brought forth initiatives to address COVID-19 and future public health emergencies. We now have the newly established ASEAN COVID-19 Response Fund and the ASEAN Coordinating Council working whose work is just starting. ASEAN's comprehensive recovery framework requires constructive contributions from across sectors, pillars, and stakeholders. In the most profound of ways, we have learned that health is an essential driver of the economy and that public health emergencies, aside from endangering the mainstream economy and the general population, heighten the vulnerabilities of women, children, the youth, the elderly, and persons with disabilities. We need to strengthen capacities to respond to the multidimensional impacts of the pandemic as we turn our attention to recovery. ASEAN envisions a three-phase approach to recovery. And learners at risk, while at the same time keeping education channels open and always in the lookout for opportunities to operate with resilience in the new normal. Let me sum up a forecast made by the World Economic Forum. COVID-19 will usher in a long overdue revolution in education. And a new model of the education system is going to emerge in the post-pandemic world. Moreover, it is going to be the higher education segment that is going to trigger and lead the revolution. This prediction is already taking shape now. In other countries' recovery plans, many are approaching education in the time of COVID in similar ways, opting to deliver education through remote learning, teleconferencing, and distance learning platforms. Some countries endeavor to make this a teaching moment, incorporating in lessons consistent practice of good hygiene habits, physical distancing, and mask wearing in public places. Developed countries are digitizing education, with Germany investing in conference suites to manage access to the internet with paper-based learning materials, including learning via TV and radio, that would allow for continued access to education for everyone enrolling this school year. While nations, including the Philippines, undertake a serious rethinking of our education system in this period of transformation, I hope that we take this opportunity to consider the fourth industrial revolution, preparing our students to be future-proof and arming them with skills that will allow them to be competitive in the labor market. Our students today will be our leaders and managers tomorrow in the post-pandemic world. Additionally, Secretary Briones has always been quick to point out that while we are working on the bigger picture of building a community, sometimes we forget that we are dealing with humans, social individuals that need interaction with other people. So this is an additional challenge to adequately address mental health, emotional well-being, when the normal is being redefined. We have to adapt and flourish. In discussions about pandemic response and recovery, certain priorities are coming to the fore. Some parties contend that COVID-19, unprecedented and sweeping, compels us to not only plan for recovery, but to build back better or build back stronger so that we emerge even more resilient than before. This is the time for a reset, a reboot, and a rethink on how we could re-energize attaining our sustainable development goals, particularly goal 4 for our education system, and wage a transformative movement for sustainable and inclusive growth. I have listed down certain topics that I always come across in my readings nowadays. This is what I call a listing, which is not exhaustive. It's not an and goal 5, gender equality and women empowerment. Next is education as a public good, accessible to all, and a multiplier of opportunities. Third one is the fourth industrial revolution, digitalization, and of course, cybersecurity goes with it as well. Next one is connectivity in all its dimensions. Connectivity, not only physical through infrastructure, but also through even digital connectivity and people-to-people connectivity. Next is human capital development, including upskilling and reskilling. And then micro, small, and medium enterprises and innovation. Next is resilient public health and social welfare systems. And the next one is inclusive growth and narrowing inequalities, because among the impacts of COVID-19 was a widening inequality in society. And also green growth and low carbon footprint development, and then environmental protection. And then we have to focus on the blue economy, because the Philippines as an archipelagic state has not really harnessed the full potential of the seas around us. And then, of course, we have biodiversity conservation, especially now that we are linking animal health with human health as well. And then climate change mitigation, and of course, a gender responsive recovery. Women have a lot to contribute towards recovery. We are in a cusp of transformation, and as this year's host, the Philippines is this year's host of the ASEAN Education Ministers meeting, we have a key role to play in shaping the agenda along the lines of what priorities and direction we should take in ASEAN's educational cooperation. The ASEAN Work Plan on Education for the period 2016 to 2020 is ending. How do we envision the road ahead? What would the pandemic's impact be on the work of the ASEAN Tibet applications that we have in ASEAN? We should use ASEAN as a platform to share best practices and technical expertise, to provide our educators with up-to-date training and resources for teaching via online and other platforms, thereby improving and strengthening our education system in the Philippines. From putting in place workable short-term solutions for remote teaching and learning during the onset of COVID-19, we have to cast our eyes further to the longer term. We must be adept in spotting opportunities and discussing intensively with other ASEAN member states, ASEAN dialogue partners, and other partners such as universities, online education companies, and technology providers, how to collaborate in our efforts to transition our frontliners in ASEAN and international educational cooperation, further and seizing efforts in building the capacities of our educators through digital and other innovative means. I hope that this translates directly into inspiring our teachers to be more adaptive, flexible, and even more creative and innovative, to reach out to our 28 million Filipino learners and introduce them to the brave new world of Education 4.0. I joined the officers and staff of the Office of ASEAN Affairs, Department of Foreign Affairs, in greeting everyone a happy 53rd ASEAN anniversary. Mabuhay po!
Thank you for that inspiring message, ASEC Mahilong West. At this point, it is time for us to hear a special message from the ASEAN Secretariat, represented by Ms. Rodora T. Babaran, Director, Human Development Directorate of the ASEAN Secretariat. The floor is yours, Director Babaran.
Thank you very much. Chairman Prospero de Vera III of the Commission on Higher Education, Assistant Secretary Juniper Mahilong West of the Department of Foreign Affairs, Attorney Lily Frida Milia, of CHED, fellow Filipinos at CHED, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the ASEAN Secretariat, it is my pleasure to join you this morning to open this year's ASEAN Month celebration of the Commission on Higher Education. We express our sincerest thanks to CHED for organizing this month-long celebration of ASEAN's establishment. Indeed, it has been 53 years since the Bangkok Declaration establishing ASEAN was signed, and over these past 5 decades, ASEAN has clearly demonstrated its relevance to its member states, as well as to our region and the world, particularly more so now that we are facing a common challenge in the still ravaging COVID-19 pandemic. As the Secretary General highlighted in an op-ed published last June, ASEAN member states responded to the pandemic with unprecedented speed and magnitude. For example, through the various mechanisms of ASEAN, our member states have been able to rapidly share information across different sectors such as health, labor, and social welfare. ASEAN has also been collaborating with the World Health Organization as well as vigorously engaging our partner countries from across the globe. Now more than ever, we must build upon the good practices instituted by member states as well as our partners in combating and addressing COVID-19 so that we can avoid costly mistakes that will set us back in our common fight. These ongoing efforts undertaken through ASEAN are therefore proving critical as we continue to stem this pandemic by exchanging data, information, and resources on prevention, detection, control, as well as interventions. As we speak, ASEAN is also in the middle of crafting a recovery plan that was called for by ASEAN leaders during April's special summit on COVID-19. This plan will help translate commitments into actions. It will be geared towards assisting member states to reopen, rebuild, and ultimately become more resilient. One of the broad strategies proposed to be included in this recovery plan is accelerating inclusive digitalization, and this includes the digitalization of education. In this regard, we hope to learn from the experiences of the Philippines, especially of CHED, in transitioning to distance learning practically over. Under the Philippines chairmanship of the ASEAN education sector. We thank the Philippines for their leadership and their close cooperation with the ASEAN Secretariat in developing this new work plan. In closing, I would like to express my thanks.
Thank you, Director Babaran. We would like to extend our sincerest gratitude to the DFA ASEAN and the ASEAN Secretariat for making an effort to join us today and for sharing messages that hopefully ignited the ASEAN spirit in us even more. Now may I call on our final speaker for this morning, the Chairman of the Commission on Higher Education, Dr. J. Prospero de Vera III, to give his message.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are requesting our chair to please unmute your microphone. Thank you, sir.
Let me start by acknowledging CHED officials are here, Commissioners Ronald Adamat, Aldrin Darilag, Perfecto Alibin, and Lily de las Llagas, our speakers, Director Babaran from the Human Development Directorate of the ASEAN Secretariat, and Assistant Secretary Juniper Mahilom West of the Department of Foreign Affairs, our directors, our officials in the Commission, and everybody watching on Facebook Live. Good morning. I welcome you all to the Commission's virtual kick-off ceremony for the ASEAN's third founding anniversary, last August 8, 2020. The Commission has endeavored to host the commemorative activities with the help of our regional offices to continue spreading awareness about ASEAN and what it means to be part of the ASEAN community. This is also pursuant to okay, let me continue. I welcome you all to the Commission's virtual kickoff ceremony for the ASEAN's third founding anniversary last August 8, 2020. In line with this auspicious event, the Commission, as it always has annually for the past years, has hosted commemorative activities with the help of our regional offices to continue spreading awareness about ASEAN and what it means to be part of the ASEAN community. This is also pursuant to Proclamation number 282, dated 31 July 2018, which declares August as ASEAN Month. 53 years ago today, countries in the region led by the foreign ministers of the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand sat down together in Bangkok, Thailand, and signed the Bangkok Declaration that created the ASEAN. The founding fathers, including Philippine Foreign Affairs Secretary Narciso Ramos, signed this document to foster regional cooperation to fight poverty, resolve conflict, and free the member states from self-perpetuating dependence from developed economies. Today, the region is faced with the threat of a different kind, the threat of the COVID-19 pandemic. Building on Vietnam's ASEAN chairmanship theme, cohesive and responsive ASEAN, and the current challenges faced by the country and the region due to the pandemic, this initiative stakeholders to highlight ideas on how ASEAN's effort as a united regional bloc help its members address opportunities and challenges globally and regionally, with special focus on the repercussions of the pandemic on the socio-cultural realities in the region. The United Nations calls the COVID-19 outbreak a human, economic, and social crisis. It has upended the lives of various segments of the population, with poor and vulnerable people bearing the brunt of the pandemic's health and social impacts. Beginning in March, countries began imposing strict measures to curb the pandemic, such as a strict quarantine, shutdown of schools and universities, and travel restrictions. The world has begun easing restrictions recently and remains cautious as everyone tries to find a vaccine. ASEAN as a regional bloc has gone to great lengths in ensuring that its member states respond to the many challenges posed by the crisis and the emergence of what is called a new normal. During the 36th ASEAN Summit held on 26 June 2020, discussions focused on post-pandemic recovery. Initiatives focused on the establishment of an ASEAN COVID-19 Response Fund, a medical supplies reserve, and an ASEAN standard procedure for responding to epidemics. All this perfectly fit Vietnam's theme for its chairmanship of the ASEAN this week: cohesive and responsive. ASEAN has various mechanisms in place that was mobilized as early as January 2020 to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, and this helped ensure convergence and facilitate a united response. Dialogue partners have also been working with the region in determining and addressing gaps in the national response and mitigating the social and economic impact of the pandemic on the various member states. In the context of the Philippines, especially in higher education, since the declaration of a state of public emergency in March, we have released numerous advisories aimed at providing guidance to our higher education institutions in conducting information dissemination campaigns, maintaining safe and healthy campuses, establishing health guidelines and protocols, and conducting school activities. We have also issued advisories on travel restrictions, adjustments in the academic calendar, deployment and the use of flexible learning methods, among others. In the face of the emerging new normal, the Commission is committed to finding ways to make the Philippine higher education more responsive, resilient, and relevant. We aim to reimagine our policies, regulation, and standards, and plan for a rewind and the Technical Working Group on Futuristic Opportunities in Rewiring Education, or FOR, was created by the Commission. Furthermore, the International Affairs staff has been closely working with Philippine higher education institutions and Philippine posts abroad on the repatriation of our stranded students and staff. We would like to especially thank the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Department of Tourism, the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Labor for working as one to make sure that our stranded students, faculty, and other education stakeholders are safely brought home. We made it an imperative to know how our students are doing locally and abroad. Online platform called Philippines CHED Connect, which stores higher education course material in various forms that can be used in teaching, learning, and research. We have also launched the CHED Higher Education Bayanihan, a virtual cooperative learning environment dedicated for training, capacity building, and resource initiative. This initiative is being implemented through CHED Higher Education Bayanihan, a virtual and free cooperative learning community for education fora, training, capacity building, and resource sharing among Philippine higher education institutions. This digital community is made up of educators, learners, and content materials focusing on exploring innovative alternatives for higher education institutions. We are proud in the Commission that all these initiatives, the online platform, and the Bayanihan project, were achieved because our leading higher education institutions, our partner universities in other countries, our ASEAN neighbors have helped bring together sustainability, quality, institutions and partners here and the ASEAN are up to the task. I would like to report that moving forward, the Commission has been able to successfully push for additional funding to ensure connectivity for our higher education institutions. The House of Representatives and the Senate have both passed the Bayanihan 2 Act, which provides, among other things, a 3 billion funding to create smart campuses. We have lobbied for this very strongly, together with pushing for amelioration packages to faculty members who have been severely affected by the pandemic, and subsidies to students and faculty members related to connectivity. We have also included in our budget for next year significant amounts, not only for connectivity, but for developing content, continuous training for faculty members, improvement of facilities, so that we are rewired appropriately for flexible learning. Together, we can adequately and comprehensively respond to this crisis while improving the quality of education and addressing learning gaps. It is clear, my friends, that now more than ever, we must stand as one ASEAN community, and we hope that our 2020 ASEAN Month celebration reminds us of the together the intrepid 5 foreign ministers to declare and agree among themselves a future that is brighter for the region. We declare
Peralta. Ms. Peralta is a project support staff at CHEDRO 1's K-12 Transition Program Unit, who is also a Wish 1075 Wishcovery Season 1 Top 20 finalist.
Turn to a land called Paraiso, a place where a dying river ends. No birds dare fly over Paraiso, no space allow them to endure the smoke that skins the air, the grass that's never there. And if I could say a single word, what a joy. I try to write some words and create a single song to be heard for the rest of the world. Live in this land called Paraiso, in a house made of cardboard floors and walls. Learn to be free in Paraiso. Feet carried many thin I see, magic rags from birds, plastic bag for the coats. And if I could see a single word, what a joy. I'd never fight to take someone else's coins and live with the fear of the rest of the world. Paraiso, help me make a stand. Paraiso, take me by the hand. Paraiso, make the world understand that if I could see a single bird, what a joy. Beside an angry land could expect some truth and hope and respect from the rest of the world. And if you could say a single word, what a joy. That if I could take someone else, we would feel like you got the rest of the poise. Paraíso, take me by the hand. Paraíso, take me by the hand. Paraíso, make the world understand that if I could sing a word, what a joy. This tired and angry land could expect some truth and hope and respect from the rest of the world. We make a stand, Paraíso. Take me by the hand, Paraíso. From the rest, a single bird would have tried. It's tired and anger could expect some truth and hope and respect from the rest.
Thank you for that wonderful performance number, Miss Peralta. For another we are reminding our performer to please unmute your microphone.
Nangyari nila.
We want to let you know. I don't want to on my way. Ain't nobody gets away. All the signs make them shine their eyes. Ain't nobody gets away. If only I walk away, I never want to leave your side. You're my one and only, ain't nobody the world tonight. All the stars make them shine like everybody. Don't try, don't ain't nobody in the world tonight.
Thank you for that performance, Mr. Renz Tibiga. And as we end this virtual kick-off, here are some final announcements. Once again, all CHED regional offices
Kamusta? Ako si Darren Espanto, batang Pilipino, batang ASEAN. Halika at alamin natin kung paano nagsimula ang Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Ang ASEAN ay nabuo mula sa ASEAN Declaration na naglalaman ng mga layunin at kahalagahan ng ating samahan. Pinirmahan ito ng 5 foreign minister mula sa 5 bansa sa Southeast Asia na sina Adam Malik ng Indonesia, Narciso Ramos ng Pilipinas, Tun Abdul Razak ng Malaysia, S. Rajaratnam ng Singapore, at Tanat Koman ng Thailand. Noong January 7, 1984, naging miyembro ng ASEAN ang Brunei Darussalam na sinundan ng Vietnam noong July 28, 1995, Lao PDR at Myanmar noong July 23, 1997, at ang huli ay ang Cambodia noong April 30, 1999. Ito ang bumubuo sa tinatawag na 10 member states of ASEAN. 10 bansa, iisang hangarin. Ang pagtibayan ng ating samahan sa ASEAN bilang isang pamilyang nagtutulungan at nagmamahalan. Kaya, think ASEAN, feel ASEAN.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, vibrant and resilient people of Region 8. This is our special version of the regional launch of ASEAN 2020. This is the Region 8 Way. I am Pearl Melo Vivero of Leyte Normal University, Assistant Secretary of PAFTE Region 8, your host on this Region 8 launching event. All right, so beautiful people on Zoom, let us wave our ASEAN flaglets as a way of greeting and welcoming everyone. Can we see them waving their flaglets on screen? All right, good morning, everyone. Let us raise our flaglets as a way of saying good morning, beautiful people in Region 8. And for those on Zoom or FB Live, flood our chat window with ASEAN 2020 at R8. I'd like to see you on FB, on the chat window for your greetings. That's your way of connecting to us at Zoom. Okay, keep waving, keep chatting. All right, we're glad to see everyone. This is ASEAN Celebration 2020 under the theme Cohesive and Responsive ASEAN. All right. I hope there are many greetings FB Live, and Zoom. All right. Would like to perhaps we're going to see some greetings. Window.
Good morning.
All right. Yeah, you can also be audible in your greetings. All right. Collaborating with the Commission Higher Education Region 8 for the staging of Region 8 Fair of Celebrating ASEAN 2020 is the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, PAFTE 8 chapter. And we're just honored today to have the presence of CHED Region 8 officials, headed by the good regional director, as well as the attendance of PAFTE regional officers with the regional chair at the team. If I may borrow one significant line from the message of His Honorable Excellence Tijani Muhammad Bandi, President of the 74th session of the UN General Assembly, the commemoration of ASEAN Day on August 8th, he said, this day reflects the spirit of thinking as a community, acting for community. We're going to watch the video for vision.
Kamusta? Ako si Darren Espanto, Batang Pilipino, Batang ASEAN. Bilang kabataang Pilipino, kasama tayo sa mas malaking samahan ng Association of Southeast Asian Nations o ASEAN. Isang community of nations na unang pinangarap sa ASEAN Declaration noong 1967 at nabuo noong 2015. At bilang isang komunidad, tayo ay may iisang pangarap para sa kinabukasan, ang ASEAN Community Vision 2025. Ito ang susundin natin sa pagbuo ng isang rules-based, people-oriented, at people-centered ASEAN community. Kasama dito ang mga blueprint para palakasin ang tatlong pillar ng ASEAN. At siyang magiging gabay natin para sa isang maunlad, masaya, at payapang rehiyon. Kaya laging tandaan, think ASEAN, feel ASEAN.
Thank you very much, Darren Espanto, Batang ASEAN. It's so heartwarming seeing the glad demeanor of Darren Espanto embracing the inclusive ends of ASEAN. Very fitting. It was moving forward. To do the honors of welcoming us to this remarkable occasion is the ever-skilled career executive service leader as Director of Shed Region 8. There's all welcome Dr. George M. Colorado.
Thank you, Dr. Pearl. And great also officers of honors that of course we have the president of Region 8, and of course we have the officer with us, of the body. And I would like to greet presidents of BCs that are with us. I saw earlier Dr. Aguirre, President of the President of I also Dr. Mari Summers with us. I also saw UE Dr. Cherry. Maybe there are other questions that are present, like also to meet you. And to everyone else, good morning to all. I welcome you to the opening ceremony for our own celebration of ASEAN the anniversary or the ASEAN. Something about the echo. So that we can hear ourselves better. I see. Okay. It sounds. Do I sound all right now? Wala na bang echo?
It's now better, sir. Thank you.
Better? All right. I think the problem is with me. So I welcome you to this opening ceremonies for our region. This activity is, of course, our objective is to continue the awareness of the ASEAN community where we belong. This is to create a spirit of oneness with our neighbors in our ASEAN. This ASEAN awareness expands our opportunities for growth and development, as well as create communal opportunities to strengthen our bond in the ASEAN region. We have the same culture and economic conditions We can only benefit from being one in the region to help each other, especially now that we are facing various challenges. I would like to congratulate the POP10 Region 8 for backstopping and leading this activity. Thank you for the strong leadership of Dr. Maripe Daga, the president of POP8, and all his officers and members of POP10 in Region 8 who are all very zealous and energetic in pursuing this activity. Congratulations to all who have fielded entries and are willing to join this activity. By joining alone, you already have won. Your zeal and industriousness is the spiritual inspiration for our young people that we shepherd. And so, I would like to greet all of you, and I wish you all good luck. I hope you will all win, but that is not possible. But let us all enjoy this spirit of competition, even if we are in this situation where we cannot gather and see each other. Nevertheless, technology has allowed us still to pursue this kind of celebration so that we can still hold hands. Even only through technology, we can continue to have fellowship. Thank you and good morning to all of you, and good luck to all our competitors.
Thank you very much, Director Colorado, for those wonderful words, both for CHED and for POP10. It's our pleasure to be of service to the CHED. All right. For the rationale and presentation of activities, we shall give you the very amiable and dynamic POP8 Regional Chairperson. It's my pleasure to give you Dr. Maripe Nicard Daga.
CHED Chairperson J. Prospero A. De Vera III, ASEAN Secretariat represented by Dr. Babaran, CHEDRO 8 Director Dr. George M. Colorado, other CHED officials, head of HAIs in Region 8, POP10 officers and members, participants, good morning. This 2020, we are celebrating the 53rd ASEAN founding anniversary anchored on the theme, Cohesive and Responsive ASEAN. This initiative aims to be a platform for higher education stakeholders to highlight ideas on how ASEAN's efforts as a unified regional bloc help its member states address opportunities and challenges globally and regionally with special focus on the pandemic's sociocultural repercussions. To commemorate this very significant event, CHED Regional Office in partnership with the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators Region 8 chapter in conducting series of virtual activities via Zoom and live streaming on YouTube and Facebook between August 10 to 29, 2020. Part of these activities is the launching and opening program that we are having now, and the awarding and closing program on August 29, 2020. In line with this celebration, there will be different contests to be held as follows. A, teaching pageant in 3 categories. PE Ed, which will be participated by practice teachers, to be held in August 17 and 18, 2020. BS Ed, also to be participated by practice teachers, to be held in August 19 and 20, 2020. Then, for junior faculty to be held on August 21 and 22, 2020. Another is a competition for spoken word poetry, also in 3 languages. First, Mother Tongue, which will be held on August 17 and 20, 2020, Filipino on August 19 to 20, then English on August 21 and to 22. It is hoped that the conduct of these activities will contribute to ASEAN's efforts by showing that effective teaching as well as meaningful learning could not be stopped by the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for listening, and please stay safe and healthy. May God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marife Daga. Our lined-up activities being a showcase of Region 8's best, we shall be in adherence to contest guidelines. To present them here is our dependable PAFTE Assistant Treasurer. Join me in welcoming Professor Cristina Natividad Estolano. Ma'am Tin, take it away.
Yes. Please stop sharing. I cannot share. Please stop sharing there first. Okay, thank you. Good morning. For this year's regional celebration, there are 2 competitions. We have the virtual competition on teaching pageant and spoken poetry. Teaching pageant is a virtual teaching demonstration contest for junior faculty in higher education and 4th-year teacher education students. The guidelines. The contest is open to all junior faculty in higher education and 4th-year teacher education students. A participating junior faculty demonstrator must be a licensed professional teacher. A participating student demonstrator must be enrolled officially as a 4th-year teacher education student this first semester of academic year 2020-2021. There will only be 3 entries per school. 1, a faculty demonstrator, 1, a BE Ed student demonstrator, and 1, a BS Ed student demonstrator. To ensure that the contestants are bona fide faculty and students of the institution, the teaching demonstrators should be endorsed by the program chair and the college dean. A contestant may also select his or her coach. In case they're not able to select one, then the unit chair can assign the coach. The lesson plan should be an original instructional design of the contestant with proper references. We don't want to have an issue on plagiarism, so it has to be properly referenced. The subject area for demonstration is Araling Panlipunan, which is in Filipino, and Social Studies in English. The lesson plan format should follow the DepEd Order number 42, Series 2016. This is for the students. There is an addendum for the faculty. The teaching demonstration will be conducted via Zoom and live streaming in YouTube and Facebook. The presentation should be in a webinar format. A link to Zoom will be provided to the teaching demonstrators and coaches. Each teaching demonstrator is given a maximum of 30 minutes to complete the teaching learning process. All teaching demonstration materials will be in shareable format so that the audience will be able to get a copy of the materials. For fluidity of contest proceedings, all teaching demonstrators, together with the coaches, should attend the virtual briefing and technical rehearsal on August 15, 2020 at 9 in the morning via Zoom. The criteria for judging will also be presented before the start of the contest. The participating schools should, as always in any contest, abide by the guidelines, rules, or criteria. This is the rubric in which the contestants will be judged according in the teaching demonstration. There are 4 criteria. Planning of the lesson, given 20 points. Instructional skills, 35 points. Teaching presence, 35 points. Personal and professional qualities, 10 points, with a total of 100 points. The next competition is spoken word poetry. This is a virtual spoken word poetry competition for higher education students. A spoken word poetry is a performance art that is word-based. It is meant to be spoken or delivered with emotions to an audience. It is an oral art that focuses on wordplay, rhythm, improvisation, intonation, and voice inflection. The contestant is, this contest is open to all officially enrolled higher education students in academic year 2020-2021 across degree programs, which means that all higher education students could participate. However, there will only be 3 entries per school, 1 in mother tongue, 1 in Filipino, and 1 in English. The contestant should be endorsed by the program chair and college dean, of course, to ensure that they are bona fide students of the institution. A contestant may also select his or her coach. The poem may be in rhyme, free verse, haiku, or other accepted poetry forms. The poem should be an original composition of the contestant anchored on this year's theme, cohesive and responsive ASEAN. The poem must not contain, of course, malicious and offensive content. So it has to be clean. Words should be chosen properly. Each contestant is given 3 to 5 minutes to deliver his or her piece. Sounds, instruments, or background music is allowed to complement the delivery of the poem. However, there will be no deduction if the contestant chose not to use any background music. The spoken word poetry will be delivered live via Zoom and live streaming in YouTube and on Facebook. The presentation also should follow the webinar format. Again, for fluidity of contest proceedings, all contestants, together with the coaches, should attend the virtual briefing and technical rehearsal set on April 15, 2020 at 9 a.m. via Zoom. Criteria for judging will again be presented before the start of the contest. And everybody should remember this: participating schools should abide by the contest guidelines. This is the criteria for judging. Message content, 40 points. Delivery and performance, 40 points. Originality, 10 points. Overall impact, 10 points, with a total of 100 points. How to join? The contestants has already been determined. So they sent their registration online through Dr. Alves, Dr. Campuzano, and Dr. Gurumba on these websites or email addresses. The qualified contestants will be notified via email. They were already notified. Qualified contestants should email to FAP8 Secretariat a copy of their lesson plan for teaching pageant and poem for spoken word poetry at least 7 working days prior to contest schedule. That is today until 12 o'clock midnight. Protocols and virtual etiquette should be observed during the contest. Certainly, we don't want to have any problem with the connectivity. Thus, all the contestants must ensure that their internet is secured for the entire duration of the competition. There are prizes at stake. Cash prize for the first, second, and third winners, and then certificate of recognition and participation for the contestants as well as the coaches. There is an addendum to the memo, and these are: each teaching demonstrator is allowed to have a maximum of 5 students to join the Zoom. These students will act as their students during the teaching learning process. The junior faculty teaching demonstrators may use a lesson plan format applied in the respective institutions. For the students, they need to use the CHED required format. For the junior faculty, it is whatever is used in your institution. Cash prize amount will be disseminated after the approval of the CHED Central Office. If you have a question, kindly post it on the chat window or email to Dr. Alves, Dr. Campuzano, and Dr. Gurumba. The guideline is based on CHED Memorandum Number 33, Series 2020. Thank you for listening. This is Professor Cristina N. Estolano of PAF8, leaving you with a message that teaching is producing successful, productive, and happy citizens. I hope that we will all enjoy the cohesive and responsive ASEAN celebration.
Thank you very much, Professor Estolano, for the Christianism. Okay, we're now going to be moving forward to present the official names of contestants in the various categories presented by Dr. Daga earlier. We shall give the floor now to the CHED Region 8 Education Supervisor, the always smart, Dr. Leo D. Campuzano. Dr. Leo, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Vivero. Maupay nga aga haaton nga tanan. For and in behalf of Dr. Jennifer A. Gurumba and Dr. Ray Anthony D. Alves, PAF8 ASEAN 2020 Committee on invitation of participants chair and co-chair respectively, I would like to present the following contestants culled from the registration forms submitted in August 7, 2020, the deadline set in our guidelines. For the teaching pageant or demo teaching, we have these entries. For BE-Ed, SU Main, Ren May Bailio, Lady Colleges, Mary Grace Mariano, Northwest Summer State University Maine, Jen Ross Civiliano, Eastern Summer State University Canavid, Elena Baguio, Leyte Normal University, Kimberly Don Go, St. Joseph College, Mary Grace L. Rosa Garan. There are 6 participants for the BE-Ed category. For the BSED category, we have 5 participants, 1 from Eastern Samar State University, Maine, Jamie V. Gumban, Lady Colleges, Carolyn Lacaba, Eastern Samar State University, Canavid Campus, Robin Hood Valles, Leyte Normal University, Niza Balintong, and St. Joseph College, Jinbi Aroy. For faculty category and teaching pageant, there are 6 entries. First is from Samar State University Main Campus, Professor Myra Lime Correbi. Then from Eastern Samar State University Main Campus, Professor Virgilio Rapada Jr. And then third from Eastern Samar State University Giwan Campus. There are 2, but they have to choose only one as set in our guidelines, Homer P. Makawili or Mark Idano. From Leyte Colleges, Professor Almira Coro. From Eastern Samar State University Canavid, Professor Angelo James Ladisla. And from the Leyte Normal University, Ara Joy Pacuma. Moving on to the spoken word poetry, there are 9 entries per category. First, for mother tongue, we have entry from Southern Leyte State University, Tomas Opus Campus, Francis Neil Murray. From Samar State University Main Campus, Arnold Abain. From Eastern Samar State University Main Campus, Lawrence Bernard Balbin. From Leyte Colleges, Maribeth Magayon. From Northwest Samar State University Main Campus, Liana Lian Achaso. Eastern Samar State University, Canavid Campus, we have Julius Palada. Leyte Normal University, May Lazel Barredo. St. Joseph College, Gerard Tan, and Palompon Institute of Technology, Main Campus, Jessa Sidilio. For the category in Filipino spoken word poetry, from SLSU Tomas Opus, Dave Relianos. From Samar State University, Maine, Marlon Dakanay. From SU, Maine, Edson Para. From Leyte Colleges, Jose Riner Abrio. From Northwest Samar State University, Maine, Jency Rose Villamor. From SU Canavid Campus, Caroline Ashley Bano. Leyte Normal University, Jeremy Sabal Berino. SJC, Ria May Sanico. And PIT Main Campus, Ruby Rogas. For English spoken word poetry, we have Dennis Ted Tingkoy of SLSU Tomas Opus, Gwen Cabanying of SSU Main Campus, Yana Mishona of SU Main Campus, Warren Rose Briones of LC, Joyce Doroha of Northwest Samar State University Main Campus, Edsel Clamor from SU Canavid, Krishna Siberi from LNU, John Carlo Carsula from SJC, and Judinel Complado from PIT Main Campus. Gentle reminders for our contestants and coaches. First, if there are corrections in the entries or if there are entries that were inadvertently omitted, please reach us through this mobile number 0956-319-2062. We would like to reiterate that all contestants and coaches are expected to attend the technical rehearsals on August 15, 2020 at 9 a.m. via Zoom. Access link to this will be sent through text or through the mobile numbers you have provided in the registration form. Finally, secure a stable and strong internet connection. For the love of ASEAN, this is Leo Di Camposano of CHED Regional Office 8. Think ASEAN, feel ASEAN.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Camposano. There is a preemption there. But anyway, thank you for giving us that tune. We love that. At this point, we are accommodating 3 questions, if there are, 1 from Zoom, 1 from FB Live, and 1 from YouTube. But anything that needs light as to the virtual contests and their corresponding guidelines as has been presented. This is Q&A segment, and we will just be very glad to accommodate your questions so that they are given light by the concerned personnel from among our presenters. So we'd like to appreciate questions forwarded through the chat window. They're being handled and facilitated by our technical staff. I guess we can give them around 2 to 3 minutes to formulate their questions if there are. Please do not hesitate to ask. However, if things were crystal clear, maybe questions may not be necessary. Technical staff is saying so far there is no question in FB Live. What about from Zoom or anything? All right, we're still awaiting for them. Dr. Leo Camposano is just very prepared to answer anything. Okay, there is also no question from YouTube comments. So it only means everything was clear. Everything is beyond question. But anyway, there are those links provided in case questions will come a little late. They can just be forwarded through them. All right. So thank you for not asking. Okay, but anyway, I guess things are really clear. Things were really perceived and conveyed very clearly. That is it. We have just shown to the world that because we are being seen from the many corners of the world. We have just shown to the world as one region our ardent support to the noble cause of ASEAN on enhancing its people's solidarity as they march for economic prosperity. We'll be having the last video for this event.
Kumusta? Ako si Darren Espanto, batang Pilipino, batang ASEAN. Parang mga miyembro ng iisang pamilya kung saan may kani-kanyang katangian ang bawat isa. Tayong mga ASEAN citizen ay iba-iba. Pero lahat tayo ay nagkakaisa sa pagbuo ng isang komunidad na makatao at mapagkalinga. May respeto at pangunawa sa kani-kanyang kultura. Nagpapahalaga sa sipag at talino ng bawat isa at nagtutulungan sa oras ng pangangailangan. Yan ang ASEAN mindset, ang diwa ng samahan ng isang caring at sharing na ASEAN community. Kaya laging tandaan, think ASEAN, feel ASEAN.
Thank you. Thank you very much again, Darren Espanto. I guess we will agree. We always are brought to smile if ever we see Darren Espanto smiling to us. All right, can we give a smile to one another on screen? Give your sweetest smile. All right, in closing, we will all together unmute our microphones and move away a little from our seats. May I invite everyone to stand? For your indulgence, please stand. Let us adjust our projections on screen and we get ready to chat. Please get hold of your flaglets. We give you a little time to adjust yourselves. I also am adjusting myself so that you become visible on screen. All right, raise your flaglets. Can we see everyone on screen? Sir Neil, can everybody be projected on screen? Okay. How many people are we on screen? How many people are we on Zoom? All right, everybody, please stand. Show your flaglet. This must do a lot of it, okay? We are going to be chanting those imperatives, those two imperatives by Darren Espanto. We're going to say, think ASEAN, feel ASEAN. Can we say that? Ready, go. Think ASEAN, feel ASEAN. One more time. Think ASEAN, feel ASEAN. For the last time. For the last time. Think ASEAN, feel ASEAN. All right, and in that stance, let's wave our flaglets for a virtual selfie on screen.
Let's see ourselves on
Our
screen.
technical staff is going to do the shooting. All right, ready with your flaglets? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Done, Sir Neil? Okay, another one, another twisting of your body position. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Done? And then with, what is the last one? Last one. Place your right palm on your chest. This is the last pose altogether. Pose. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Give it to your best angle because this is for documentation purposes. We'd like to see the party officers in their white and this blue scarf. We love our scarves. This is our special memento from PAFTE Regionate. That's our identity. And with that, I would like to say thank you very much for your indulgence. This has been Pearl M. Vivero of Lake Normal University, PAFTE 8 Assistant Secretary. See you all again at the Battle of Teaching and Artistic Wits on August 17 to August 22, 2020. Thank ASEAN.
Thank ASEAN.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day ahead. Have a great day ahead. God
Thank you.
bless.
God bless.
Bye. Neil, mau pa yan picture?
Bye. Annie, can we request the PAFTE officers to remain?
Yes, to have a picture.
Also, we request
Can you please show yourselves? Para may nakita.
after PAFTE, Chandro 8.
Thank you.
Sir
Dr.
George,
Camposano,
after
thank
PAFTE.
you.
After
Okay,
PAFTE,
Mama
Chandro
Yel
8.
there.
Thank you.
Neil, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sir Leo.
Thank you, Sir Leo. Thank you, Sir Colorado.
Victorial Anay, PAFTE officers.
Thank you, Sir George. PAFTE officers, please. For your... Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vivero. Very nice emceeing.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Dr.
I'm
Daga,
inspired.
congratulations.
Sir, thank you po.
We have finished the first part